Welcome to the Design to Do More podcast with your hosts, Jen Cosgrove and Sean O'Leary.
We are here in beautiful Las Vegas for a very special edition of our Design to Do More podcast. So if you hear a little noise, that's because there are a lot of people having a lot of fun here, including us. And this is the land of conventions, and one of the great things is that it draws some of our great partners in real estate to here at the Aria for what is a Zillow Unlock conference. And we have one of those great partners here today in James Wilcox of We Dig Excavation from South Kingstown.
How are you guys doing? It's great to be here today and be joining you guys and just to network a little bit with you guys and get to just share some aspects of excavation here of what the differences are between the higher end excavation and some of the regular residential stuff, and where we have a little bit more flexibility to try to bring in some of the newer technologies, better materials, and just different aspects within the end result and the landscape design to try to bring people's dreams to life. So
yeah, this is very, very interesting to me because I have built a home.
Yep.
And it never occurred to me to question the builder about who he was using for an excavation team.
Yeah.
So tell me why I should be concerned about that as the customer. I'm building a house. Why do I want to make sure it's a good excavating company that we're going to hire?
Definitely. So obviously having the experience to take care of the job and get the job done right is going to be one of the number one priorities. You know what I mean? Every project, as you guys know, comes across obstacles, and there's going to be problems, there's going to be issues that you're going to run up against, and having somebody on your team who knows how to take care of those things prior to anything going on, and that way you're not even aware, they're just taken care of, and they have the resources to resolve these things, is going to be very beneficial.
One of the things I think I heard you say is that one of your specialties at We Dig Excavation is that you focus on more luxury properties. And can you tell us some of the differences, both between your company and some others, as well as the differences in the approach for a luxury property, such as your focus is, versus a non-luxury property?
Exactly. So I think a lot of that's going to come down to a lot of the stuff tends to be similar, but scale is going to be a lot larger. You know what I mean? When you're moving with a bigger project, there's going to be a lot more moving parts too. So having our schedule right, making sure that everything's going to be done on time, make sure things that are going to be able to be properly handled. Having a team that's large enough to adequately take care of your project. You know what I mean? And when it moves into the larger projects like that, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of things, and excavation tends to be very much like a game of charades. And if you do something out of order, it's really going to end up having consequences. So everything has to go in the proper order. You know what I mean? Everything has to be done in its right sequence in order to make sure that the job is going to be completed, number one, on time, but two, done right. You know what I mean? So I think that's definitely a big aspect of it. And then also in the higher end stuff, it really gives us the ability to bring on better materials. You know what I mean? Like, people really don't think about that, but it's, when your budget is cut down so much, you know what I mean? Sometimes there's cheaper materials, aggregates that are brought in just to, hey, we just need clean fills, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And then if the project proceeds and it goes into like the wet season, it goes into snowy season, into the winter months where it's a little bit more challenging, it can end up causing problems and running into higher costs there, because now it's dealing with water, dealing with mud, dealing with contractors who are held up and they can't get in, can't get their project done. And then also another aspect is that we're able to bring on some of the newer technology, like grade control. You know what I mean? We have the ability now where we can take drones and we can fly over the entire site, and we can shoot the entire topographical lay of the land. And we can know exactly what we're starting with. We know exactly what our beginning aspect is. And we can go ahead and tell you exactly what your cut and fill is, exactly what type of materials we need to be bringing in. And then what we have the ability to do is send that software on our CAD file and actually upload it to the machinery itself. And the machine can actually grade out that site within inches to that file. So it can actually recreate the entire site based off of that CAD file that's uploaded. And you're not going to see that on, you know, a small single-family residential home, you know what I mean, an entry-level project, because just the funds aren't going to be there to incorporate that type of technology. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So,
one thing comes up a lot on inspections when we do real estate inspections. The
Yeah.
inspector comes out and will say, "Ooh, we've got an issue with the grade." You know,
Yeah.
like it's not
pitch or water.
the pitch, water's getting
water
into the
pooling.
basement. They're
Yeah.
finding issues, and then all of a sudden, you know, nobody wants to buy that house. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's a very important thing to
Yeah.
make sure. And now, would you ever get involved with helping someone solve
Yes.
a problem like
Yep.
that? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and that ends up being a lot of our work is either it's settled and now it's pitching the wrong way. You know, there wasn't forethought. You know, they trying to get a contractor in there who's just gonna get the job done, and they're trying to be as budget friendly as possible, and it's somebody with less experience. You know what I mean? And just the years that we've had doing this has given us the experience that we need to kind of come in and say, okay, how do we correct this? And sometimes they're very challenging. You know, in Rhode Island, as the lots become more scarce, we end up using some of these more challenging lots. You know what I mean? And it's like lots that have higher water tables, lots that have ledge issues or rocks, you know what I mean, that normally were deemed unbuildable. Now we're getting in there saying, hey, listen, like, we like this location, we want to be on the water, you know what I mean, like, can we make this here work? So it really forces us to try to get into some other aspects and say, okay, like, you know, how can we get creative here to make, you know, a lot that normally would be seen as a non-buildable lot, and we also needed to have the proper function and to work for them in the future, you know what I mean? So
That's great.
That's
Now,
good.
would somebody contact you directly, or would they have their builder contact you? What's
Yep.
the best way to go about hiring your company and getting you out there?
That's a great question. So we already work under a lot of high-end builders already. You know what I mean? There's a lot of great builders who are local in Southern Rhode Island. This is where most of our work is. And they just exclusively use us because they know we can come in there, we can take care of the time frame, we can take care of doing it right, we can make sure that it's clean and orderly. You know what I mean? We like to uphold a certain standard to our work to make sure that, you know, it's representing. A lot of these higher end homes and higher end customers, you know, they want to come in, they want to see it done right, they want to, you know, they're expecting a certain standard, and we try to uphold to that. But yeah, so you obviously definitely you could reach out to us individually through our website, or through phone, you know, contact us that way. But obviously, if you're working with one of these builders already, you're probably going to have us there already. So,
Interestingly, I noted that your company is, like my law firm, a second generation Rhode Island business.
yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about working with family and the history of the We Dig excavation?
So, my grandfather started it almost 30 years ago, and my father ended up coming into some health issues and had to step down, and so as young men we had to kind of step in and fill some pretty good big shoes, you know what I mean? But luckily I have an older brother, I have a younger brother, and the three brothers. We, you know, mother and father in the office. And, you know, anybody you talk to will say, oh, don't run family business, you know what I mean? Family business never works, you're gonna butt heads, you know what I mean? But we've always been able to work well together, and one thing that we've lived by is just, you know, the Bible tells us not to let our problems go without, you know, don't let the sun go down without resolving it. And, you know, we might not see eye to eye on something, but at the end of the day, we always try to say, you know what, let's at least squash this, let's at least get rid of it and move on, and that's helped us to always, you know, be able to resolve whatever we have and move forward. So
I'm sure your clients are the better for it.
it is, yeah, that's true.
So your website again is We Dig
Corp.
Excavate Corp.
Yep.
We Dig Corp.
Yep.
Great. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today,
Definitely.
learning
That is
about
for
your
sure.
business, and we'll definitely be sharing all your details with any of our clients who may need your type of services.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Pleasure,
you.
guys.
All right.
Thanks for checking out the Design to Do More podcast. Looking for more information? Follow us on social media or visit GreenwichBayBrokers.com.